I'm an independent filmmaker. Over the past 25 years, I've completed 2 feature fictional films, several feature documentaries, and numerous smaller films. I've filmed rock concerts, dance competitions, and many events as a traditional videographer as well. At 71 years, I'm really not in good enough health to chase traditional filmmaking. That's why when I discovered AI filmmaking, I was very excited. I could sit in my small studio and tell stories with film. To learn, I started with a Pixar-style cartoon series called Misfit Misadventurers. Did 5 15-minute episodes, then moved to a photorealistic episodic series, Tales Not Meant to Be Told.
Make sure you get it out before the game's released, or the boss will be pissed.
And
If you see the gift shop, you've gone too far.
A Twilight Zone-esque series telling short, twisted horror and suspense stories. In my experience, it's a good way to start doing short films with AI, just as with traditional film. With 10 15-minute episodes under my belt, I decided to do a feature, Night Taker, with a target runtime of 75 to 80 minutes. At 10 seconds maximum per video clip, well, you do the math. First, I wrote a partial script that outlined what I wanted in the story. A vicious, unstoppable supernatural monster plaguing a large city. A fallen angel that was condemned to sin to survive.
Sort of like Satan.
Yeah, but kind of worse. A blatant rebellious act. So the gods sentenced her to an eternity of sinning, just to not be reduced to a pile of dust.
Okay, sufficiently weird.
I consulted extensively with ChatGPT-5 on fictitious mythologies and a backstory. Worked well. I highly recommend using ChatGPT as your humble assistant who knows everything. Did I storyboard? No, but I probably should have. I took the script, such as it was, envisioned a scene, and went to work. I tend to write scripts on the fly as I'm doing the movie, confident that I can write my way out of any painted corner in which I find myself trapped. Now for some nuts and bolts specifics about scenes and characters. It's really the same as tangible filmmaking, but there are some important differences which I'll detail for you. For scenes, I used OpenArt to create scene images. It has several models including Flux and the newer Nano Banana and Sea Dream. These models, at least for video generation, are cheaper to work with outside of OpenArt. For example, I use Kling AI with Kling's web app rather than OpenArt. Make sure you choose 16:9 aspect ratio to get a cinematic starting point. To make corrections, I highly recommend OpenArt's Chat to Edit feature. Load your image and simply describe what you want. For example, I have one scene in Night Taker where I set a warehouse on fire. Later, I needed just the warehouse without fire. I simply told Chat to Edit, remove the fire, and voila, warehouse without fire. I also use Chat to Edit to create views of my characters. Create a frontal view of the character, then tell Chat to create a back view, oblique views, close-ups, medium shots, etc. Very fast and very useful. Now, for the basic formula I use to create footage. First, create a scene, either with an existing image, a photo for example, or use text-to-image prompting. Step 2 is to add characters. Just an image, but better, is create a character and use Elements feature of Kling 1.6 or Vdo. Step 3 is to animate, video generation, a crapshoot, using Kling AI and Hailuo. Step 4 is to assemble the scene. I use Premiere Pro. Use your favorite editor. Step 5 is to add Foley. I've had the best luck with Kling's video to audio generation tool. Step 6 is add lip sync. I use Dzine and Lemon Slice. I haven't found one that's flawless at lip syncing sideways faces. Dzine is really useful since it lets you drag audio on a timeline to specify where you want the audio to come in. Step 7 is to add music. Gone are the days of buying music, getting clearance licenses, fighting with ASCAP or BMI, blah blah blah. It was a real pain and the part of filmmaking I always dreaded. Get Suno AI and 11 Labs and make your own. Personally, I used Suno almost exclusively in Night Taker. Step 8 is to add your effects. I started out using Pond 5, but it quickly got very expensive. At $3 to $6 per effect, it added up quickly. Kling has a text-to-audio generator that works very well, and it's definitely my go-to effect source. Just tell it what effect you want, and it generates 4 choices. Slick! Now for a discussion of AI filmmaking issues and problems. AI video generation has no memory. It won't remember how a character should look unless you show and tell. If one scene shows your character with a frontal view, and a next scene shows that character walking away, if the next scene shows the character walking frontal again, the AI will not remember what the character looks like. Also, don't describe characters in the scene that aren't in the scene. Don't prompt characters off screen. Otherwise, the AI will just add a character you don't want in the scene. I had lots of problems with the AI lengthening Debbie's red hair, ponytail or bob cut, aging or removing the tie off my detective, changing his slacks to black, adding weight to both of them, etc., until it gets very wearisome. I used Kling AI's element swap feature numerous times to correct such problems. Often it worked, but sometimes not. For some reason, it would not let me swap Debbie's image. I think because she is a police officer. Something about violating privacy crap. Ugh. Generating a video with AI is a crapshoot. Out of many tries, you may get something close to what you prompted for, or you may not. There are times I just gave up and actually changed the script to accommodate the goofball AI. It is a compromise you must be willing to make at times, or have unlimited cash and patience. You don't get a refund when something doesn't look the way you envision. Night Taker uses painful telepathy to talk in my movie. Why? I could not get any lip sync tool to work reliably with her toothy face. So change the script was my solution. Meh. ChatGPT recommended I look at character rigging, which I've never done, and some animation software that only runs in Windows. Maybe next movie. Okay, unless you're Hitchcock, at times you need blood or a bit of gore in a horror movie. AI puts blocks at every turn to generate such videos, violates community standards. I suppose the lawyers make community standards, but they certainly don't make horror movies. If you make AI movies, you'll run into this very annoying community standards violation nonsense frequently. Nude or semi-nude? Forget it. Texas Chainsaw style horror? Forget it. Boring cafe scene? Sure, knock yourself out. However, one weirdity is some violence you can get away with. Night Taker has beheadings without blood. Why? Because Hailuo would generate blood for me as a red liquid, but generated buckets of ridiculously over-the-top videos. Not helpful. So I was happy to just get a response to rip the body down and leave his arms, or bite off the cultist's head without blood. Maybe next movie I'll use After Effects. Meh. In case you haven't gotten the gist by now, AI filmmaking is wonderful, but also a severe pain in the ass. But it's way, way cheaper and less of a pain than real filmmaking. Let's face it, it's really just animation, without the artistic skill. I can't draw worth a flip, but I can describe what I'm envisioning. And sometimes the AI surprises me with something amazing. Well, enjoy it. Being able to incorporate all those effects I could never afford is mind-blowing. Thanks for listening. If you wouldn't mind, please subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate the support. And be sure and watch Night Taker coming October 29th, just in time for Halloween.